Yo, and welcome to Semen Retention Christmas edition. It's the 25th of December. Literally the last 5 minutes of Christmas right now. It's 11:55 on the clock, and I'm just driving home after a gig. I had a late gig, started at 6, finished at 11. My voice is absolutely cooked, but I'm still making this video because I really want to talk about my experiences today. Going through Christmas today, went to my parents' house, visited them, saw my sister there. This is her first Christmas in a while without having a boyfriend at a Christmas, which is very interesting. Anyway, so then my brother and his fiance rocked up. They both have lost a lot of weight. His fiance looks concerningly skinny, and it's that kind of like sickly Ozempic type shit. You know what, guys? Her face was gaunt. She was going to the bathroom every 30 minutes, and this is classic Ozempic signs, okay, guys? I used to have a friend of mine who was on Ozempic, but I'd stopped hanging out with her. We didn't do any weird shit or anything like that, but she was on Ozempic and she had to throw up every single 30 minutes to an hour. She was completely fucked, guys. Anyway, my brother, he looked kind of, unhealthy. Even though he lost weight, he just looked like he hasn't seen a bit of sun at all. My dad was just kind of classic kind of dad, eccentric, bit weird here and there. My mum was alright. I'm not going to go through all my other relatives and all that kind of stuff, how they were, but basically all the men, I could tell all the men weren't really retaining their seed. The most obvious sign for me is you see their skin. When you're on retention and you're hanging around people in your family, it doesn't matter if they're your uncle, your dad, your brother, your grandpa, your nephew. All men on semen retention have a glow to them, okay? This is why when you see people that are 17, 18 years old, they have a glow because they're maintaining their sexual energy and they're not, fapping and all that kind of stuff. So go through Christmas Day, I'm just having some vegetarian food whilst everyone's chowing down on some meat and stuff. I'm not gonna complain about that, but it is what it is. They all got kind of full and tired very quickly. I had good energy for a long time for the day, and look, I would rate this Christmas as an enjoyable one. It wasn't anything special, wasn't anything crazy, but at the end of the day, there was some good things about it. Okay. I had a good chat to my uncle. He's a bit more tapped in. We were just talking about how nothing really matters, the material shit, and how a lot of people get stuck in the loop of life he was talking about. And he was telling me how he's doing things like learning guitar and going skydiving and doing all these fun things and doing pottery and stuff like that, just to kind of battle retirement. Because when men retire, that's what kills us. That's what kills men. Is retirement. Retirement is basically a concept that doesn't fit with men. If women didn't have to do all this fucking working and all this type of shit, men could work their whole lives and they wouldn't have to retire. They'd just die on the day that they die. Maybe when they're in their real peak, kind of only a few years off death, that's probably a good time to wind back and stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, that's a little rant. But I ended up going to my gig, do my warm-up in my car, drive to the gig, and then next thing you know, I am playing my gig. Look, I had a bit of a hard time in the first hour trying to get into it. Everyone was already upbeat and up and about and drunk and stuff, and it's I don't know. I just gonna be honest with you guys. My booking agent, like, he's just like he's working me really hard, and I really hope that I'm compensated greatly for today's gig, given that it was a Christmas gig and there's public holidays rates, and you know what's annoying about being the MVP, the most valuable player, the employee of the month, the best person on the team? The most annoying thing about that is the fact that you are always going to be relied on to outshine and can constantly be like working hard because you've already set this standard. And so now they expect so much from you. And now I understand how, like, you know, touring musicians feel that are famous, and I understand how, like, you know, successful sporting players feel and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, so basically my thing is that it get to a point where I'm just tired. I'm tired. My voice is tired. That's it. My voice is tired. I feel I haven't really gotten a chance to really rest my voice yet, which is annoying. But thankfully, semen retention is allowing me to heal somewhat. I probably have some minor damage to my voice. But you know what? Some of these gigs that he's booking me, I've now got the mindset that I'm just gonna like not even like sing for half of it, and I'm gonna like just kind of, you know, get away with not using my voice as much. So there was a point where I was feeling very fatigued, and I felt like I couldn't really get through this long gig. So after my first set break, I asked God, and I was like, God, just make me feel better. Like, you're on my side. I'm retaining my seed, so you kind of owe me, you know? I've been retaining my seed for probably about 3 years now, on and off. I think that I've made a point to God that, you know, I need to be taken care of on my purpose. Funnily enough, my voice started to free up. It felt a bit more easier to use. And then, you know, towards the end of the gig, it just gets a little bit tired and all that kind of stuff, and I can't do much about it. But I don't know. At the end of the day, the manager of the venue was very nice to me, and she gave me some Moet Chandon champagne. And I'm not here to try to make enemies of people. I understand everyone in the hospitality industry is getting their ass kicked at the moment. It's a very busy time of the year for everyone. Musicians are getting their ass kicked because if you want to be a reliable musician, you're the one getting all the gigs. Trust me. And I don't know, all the chicks at the venues and stuff, I'm always getting, you know, girls that are like into me and attracted to me, and, you know, I can tell the way that they're looking at me that if I approached them and stuff, I could do something with that. But I've got a one-track mind, guys. There's that girl that I'm still, you know, starting this kind of duo thing with. She actually sent me a message today, which I was very kind of surprised. In the afternoon, she sent me a message saying, "Merry Christmas, Stephen. Hope you have a good day." And I thought that actually kind of meant a lot to me, actually. And it's nothing to do with me actually like, you know, like being kind of into her and having, you know, being attracted to her and stuff like that. It's not just about that, but it's about the fact that, like, no one else messaged me Happy Christmas today except for one person on my previous YouTube video. You know, I got my parents and my family that said Happy Christmas to me today, just as a as a thing in person and all that, but no one else said, you know, Merry Christmas or whatever. And like, I'm not really concerned about other people saying Merry Christmas to me, but the fact that the only person that texted that to me was her, I felt like that was a good sign. I feel like that's a sign that like she's at least considerate of me, and doesn't just view me as some, you know, I think she's got a good heart. I think she's intuitively, I think that she's like a real good girl. And I'm just curious to see what happens. There's gonna have to be one point where, you know, we get the chance to just do something outside of singing and playing music together, where we can get to know each other a bit more, you know, on like a different kind of, you know, different kind of way. But yeah, so it's been pretty interesting. I sent her a message back and said Merry Christmas to her, and she liked it, and then, you know, we both went on to our days, obviously. But let me know what you guys think about, like, when it comes to semen retention and just females in general. Like, do you feel like that there's more enjoyment in, like, kind of knowing less than when you're like one of those guys that's like thirsty to get in there and then you do it and all that kind of stuff? Like, I think the last person that I was talking about on my videos, where I said I just dumped a girl after 111 days of semen retention, like, because I'd met her, like, and we'd hung out a couple of times. In between her and I hanging out, she was like messaging me, but she was implying some sort of like sexual things. But with this girl, there's been no implying kind of sexual stuff. But there is a tension there. And it's like, I think we both know it, but it's like, there's more of a purity in the air. That's what I'll say. There's like a purity between us. But with the other girl, I'm going to put some light on, look like a creep. But with the other girl, like, she was crass. She was like way too in my face about things, and then when we met up for the third time, what she wore, like every single time we met up with her, she was just like, in my opinion, overexposing herself, and I'm just not into that. Like, whereas this girl that I'm kind of, you know, I'm into now, she's very modest, and, you know, she covers herself well. And funnily enough, my auntie was talking about this today on Christmas lunch or whatever. She was saying how, like, back in her day, you know, she used to cover herself, blah, blah, blah. But then my uncle said to her, like, her husband said to her, she was like, nah. So yeah, my uncle was implying that even women back in the 70s were obviously exposing themselves and stuff. But it's no surprise, given that, like, around the late 60s, there was a bit of a cultural revolution and, you know, liberation for women and all that kind of stuff. But that's all kind of interesting. To me, I think modesty is very sexy. I think women that, you know, understand they have beautiful physiques and dress, you know, modestly, are very, very attractive to me. Yeah, like, I think I'm frothing a bit over this girl, to be honest. But to be fair, like, I'm keeping it cool. Like, I'm very, like, reserved, and I'm just looking forward to the next time that I kind of hang out with her and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's all good. It's all fun and games. Anyway, I hope you all had a great day today. I'll talk to you guys soon on the next video. Please like and comment anything you want to talk about. We can talk about your streak. I'm on over 130 days. I think I might be at 140 now. I don't know, but anyway, we'll check in soon. Have a good one, guys. Catch you later.